we are discussing about methods of collections of the material, and we had discussed about that how the sutras and the original text, if a person wishes to do research, so what are the methods of doing research to collect the research materials for the sutras and original text? If you remember, we had discussed these slides, and then we had discussed that what are the primary sources and original texts. Then we had discussed about the Buddhist Sanskrit literature, then Buddhist manuscripts in Nepal and Tibet. These are our sources through which textual studies can be conducted by a research scholar. We had also discussed about the Central Asian manuscripts, then Chinese translations of the Buddhist Sanskrit text available in Nanjio catalog of Tibetan Tripitaka. Then we had discussed about the Kanjur and Tanjur Tibetan literature. Then what are the Sanskrit texts which have been translated into our Tanjur by the Acharyas. We had discussed some of the, and Tibetan Tripitaka also, that what are the sections under the Tibetan Tripitaka, Kanjur and Tanjur. Then we had discussed about that how the textual studies related with the text, how the versions which are available in different versions like in Tibetan Tripitaka, like Dege, Narthang, Chone, Lhasa, there are 4 versions. So how there are variations in the versions of our Tripitaka in the same manner. In Pali Tripitaka also, we are having the 4 different Tripitaka, like our Sri Lankan, the Tripitaka, their Myanmar, then Thai script, and then Roman. So these are the 4 editions which are available, and but there are some of the variations in each edition. So how one can do research and how they can, a research scholar can do textual study. So these are some of the examples, and then we are discussing about the what are the general methods of our research related with the textual. So we are discussing about, if you remember, that critical readings of the traditional text which are available in our written form, or in the palm mill leaves, or in the form of manuscripts, or whether they are available in oral traditions in some of the parts of our Leh Ladakh, and in some of the parts of Tripura, there are still Tripitaka which are in oral traditions. Still, they are protecting from the time of the Buddha, and still they are not in printed form. They are available in oral traditions. In villages of our Leh Ladakh, still some of the persons which are fluent in speaking those oral traditions. So still they are the source of our informations, and on the basis of that one can do the research. Then analysis of the data relevant to the traditional source materials with multi-fold apparatus of the experimentation. Nowadays, there is a much stress that how the traditional method of the research can be compared with the modern method of the research methodology. There are so many research methodologies which are developing nowadays. And what are the methods and how the traditional or biblical or sacred text can be done with the help of our modern research methodology. There are some of the persons who are doing in the research, Richard F. Gomrich, Professor K.R. Norman, and Professor Rupert Gethin of Bristol University. So they are some of the examples who are doing that, how the biblical or secular text can be studied with the help of the modern research methodology. So there is a need of that, how research a scholar can do with the both traditional source materials with the help of our modern research methodology. Then there is a inductive constructions through the cross reference and cross cultural resources, whether available by application of following research methods in formal course of studies, either conceptual or behavior. So this is the most important. So there are two types: inductive method and deductive method of the researcher related with the text. So how there are some of the cross references of the text in available in the different sources, and how there are some cultural barrier among the two countries, but they are following the same religion, Buddhist religion or other religion, how they can be studied. So there are some of the methods through which we can do our textual study. First is the inductive method. So inductive method is nothing but it is a method which is based upon the empirical observations. Empirical observations means that based upon the quantitative type of research and based upon the observations on the statistical data or anthropological data through the laboratory or through the different modes of the experimentations that can be done. So here there are some of the concepts, and then just opposite of that inductive, there is a deductive suppose, in which that is the concepts or the theories which are tested or validated based upon the other research materials which are available to us. So this is the our test through which we can do. There is another method of the text, that is the comparative method. In the comparative method, we there must be two traditions of the same religion. There are some suppose Theravada traditions and the Mahayana tradition. So there must be text belonging to the two different our traditions. Even in Sri Lanka, there are two traditions like Abhayagiri Mahavihar and Anuradhapur Mahavihar. There was another traditions which was also available in Sri Lanka, like Jetavan Mahavihar. So Anuradhapur Mahavihar, which is mainly based upon the Pali language literatures, that is the Theravada traditions. And Abhayagiri Mahavihar Vasins, they were having the traditions based upon the teachings of the Buddha available in Sanskrit text. Their Tipitaka and their sources were mainly from the Sanskrit text. There was another tradition in Sri Lanka also, Jetavan Mahavihar. In Jetavan Mahavihar also, there was a tradition of the Sanskrit text. So how the teachings of the Buddha available in the three traditions, Abhayagiri Mahavihar Vasins, Anuradhapur Mahavihar Vasins, and Jetvan Mahavihar Vasins. This is one of the examples of the thing. So comparative study, like one of the texts of the Bepulu Sutras and one of the texts of our Theravada traditions can be compared with that. So comparative studies of the concepts of the society, of the economy, of the polity can be done. So this is the one of the method of the textual test. Then descriptive method of the text. If a person wishes to do textual research, he can do our descriptive. He has to describe only the things which are available. So this is based upon the only analytical study, that he is describing some of the concepts which are available in the text. Then there is another inductive method that is called as historical method. Historical method we have already discussed in our research method, that the historical methods are mainly the available that some events have occurred or happened in a space and time. There must be a person who have spoke to some of the persons. There must be some of the persons who have heard the teachings or the text. So it was happened. Suppose in the Pali text or in Sanskrit text, we are having Eom Maya Srutam. And in Pali also Eom Maya Sutam. That once upon a time it was heard by me. एकम समय भगवा सावत्यम विहरति जेतवने अनाथ पिंडकस आराम विहारे. So once upon a time, Blessed One was dwelling at a place which was called as Jetvan of the Sravasti place. So some event was her. There was a person who was preaching. There were some listeners who were hearing. So this historical method, mainly based upon the literature, as well as there are other sources of the historical method, that is based upon the archives or the archaeological sources. That is also historical method. But when we are discussing about our literature, this is the text which were spoken to some persons, and there was a person who was speaking. The Blessed One was speaking to the venerable monks. So this is the our historical method. So based upon the sutras or suttas, if a person makes a study, analytical study, this is called as historical method. Then there are two types of methods, that is the literalist method and a historical method. Literalist method is that type of research which is based upon the literature, especially biblical or sacred text. And this is the historical. So Trevor J. Trevor Ling, who is the Western scholar, he has developed that how textual study can be studied. So there are two methods like literalist method and historical method. So this is the historical method. So text can be sutras or the suttas can be studied. So discriminating method, there is another method of the text that is called as the deductive method. Deductive method, reduction method. Reduction method is based upon the analysis of the literature regarding any concept or any theories. These theories or the concepts which are available to us, they can be tested or validated by our research materials. So this is called as a deductive method. Then analytical method is analysis of the materials, analysis of the research materials. So when the materials are available, you are making an analysis. Analysis means making the divisions of in a different parts. Vivajan at ena vibhangam. So here analysis is in the sense of make divisions in a different parts of the things. Suppose there are four paramartha dharma, chitta, chetasik, roop, and nirvan. How a person is making divisions of these chitta, chetasik, roop, and nirvan in different forms like panchaskandha, dwadas aitan, atharas dhatu, in the form of law of dependent originations, law of four noble truth. So how these four paramartha dharma can be studied with the different angles also. So whenever a person's making divisions of any literary concepts or the ideas in a different manner, this is called as analytical method. So a person has to do like this. Further, this analysis of the data is coming under the synthetic method. So syncretic means that you are making a all the data which are available at one point. So you are conglomerating all these things. So this is synthetic method. So general type may not be applicable to research of the monolinguistic model, but in bilingual research method in relevance to Buddhist cross-cultural inside India and abroad. So this study can be also applied to the discipline Buddhist studies, and they may not be applicable. Whatever these, there are five, six inductive and deductive, historical, and analytical or descriptive. They may not be applicable to those texts where a researcher can make a socio-linguistic study of the text. There are some methods of that how linguistic study, what are the linguistic peculiarities of the text, how the style of the writing, how the uh, morphology, origin, and development of the language which have developed in the text. That study can be also taken in different manner, not by these manners. So we are coming to the next point, that is the how linguistics a study or research can be done in our Pali or Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit or in other texts available in Prakrit or Apabhrans or Nevari, whatever the texts which are available in Gandhari is the script also, and Paisachi script also. So these are several methods through which a person can do. First is the a status of a particular language with the demography of the speakers or with the available scriptural data. So first a scholar has to be that what type of language which has been taken in the writing of the text. Because if you go through the historical analysis of the language, historical linguistics of the any subject or any language, then there is a need of that how the persons were living together. Time to time, we are aware that how the language changes from time to time and from distance to distance also. After 100 years, the language also disappears or it changes into different form with the help of the admixture of the another regional languages. A new language can may be developed. So this is the a study that how linguistics study, how the morphological, how the semantic a study can be done by going through the linguistic peculiarities of the symbol. We are quite aware that linguistic is nothing but it is a science of the language. Your language can be defined that language is the sum total of the thoughts which arise in our mind and it is coming through our vocal organs. So, how the language which is coming from the vocal organ of a person in the form of sentences, how they are having the linguistics peculiarities of that. So through the language, we can know the demographical structure of the society of that period concerned, or accordingly we can think over it. So whatever the scripture we are having or the text which are having, based upon those data, demographic studies or the particular study language of any subject can be studied, whether it is Pali or Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit or other. Even when we called as a Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit or Buddhist mixed Sanskrit, it means that Sanskrit language has the mixture of another languages. That is why it is called as a mixed Sanskrit or hybrid Sanskrit. It is not a pure Sanskrit, but there are other languages which have mixture with our Sanskrit. That is why it is called as Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit. We are having so many, even there is a dictionary of Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit also. So here next, this is the bilingual comparison translated or the loan admixture. What are the loan words of any language can be studied. If you go through the language of the Thai language of Thailand, you will see there are so many Sanskrit and Pali words which have been taken as a loan words, and the new language which have been developed. If you go through there are so many words which have been taken from the Sanskrit as well as Pali. In the same manner, we are also in Pali, whatever we are having the Pali, it is one of the Prakrit language and mixed with so many our Paisachi or Earth Magadi or Magadi dialects available at that time also. So this is we have to find out that what are the main loan words which have been taken by any language. So this is another aspect which can be studied by a research scholar, that how the bilingual comparison can be done, whether they are in the translated form of the loan admixture. Then there are what are the phonetic similarities? Phonetical means that how the sounds of the languages are changed. Phonology is a science through which a person can know the how the changes of the language are being done. There are so many forms of the changing of the word, like assimilation, samikaran, dissimilation, visamikaran, metathesis, varna viparyay, then epenthesis, then prothesis, postthesis, hypology. There are so many forms through which a person can know that how the words or the letters of the word are being changed from time to time. How the Sanskrit words were changed into Pali and how the Pali words changed into other form also. So this is another phonetic similarity. That what are the phonetic similarities? If you see in Thailand, there are so many, even in some of the parts of the Tripura, Myanmar language, Burmese language, there is admixture. So there is a new language which have been developed even. Even in the same form, we are told that in Tamil, Telugu, we are having so many words of the Prakrit. There are so many words which are still available, are having some of the word Pali word or Magadhi word, we can say even. In some of the parts which were in the common words, which are availability of the sound of the letters, they can be also studied by this. Then what are the dissimilarity? We have the dissimilarity is that how the letters, two different the sounds are changed into a similar words also. Like kankana, it becomes kangana. So this is the example of our dissimilarity or visamikaran. So one can study. Then another aspect of linguistics study is morphological negotiation, which discusses about the origin and the development of the language, how the language was developed. So, based upon the text, one can study that how the morphology of any language can be developed. There are so many theories related with the Pali language also, Magathi language also. So related with that, that is why it is called as Samagadi Mool Bhasa Narayadi Kapika Brahmano Chasu Talapa Sambuddha Cha Api Bhasare. So Magadhi is called as original language through which other our Prakrit language were developed with the passage of the time. So this is the one of the aspect which can be studied here. Then another is the syncretic variations, how there are changes in the synchronizations of the words, how the words are in the form of like how Bhadant became in a abbreviated form of Bhante. So there are so many long words, they were syncretized in a single word also in for the sake of communications to other persons also. So in that way, one can study that how the syncretic variations are available. Then etymological analysis, etymological that how the word has been developed, what are the root of the word, how what is the dhatu, how the suffixes and the prefixes were added with that. So how this language, our etymological derivations have been also developed. So there are some of the methods related with this also, and so etymological is analysis can be also done of any particular sutta or the text also. Then sometimes sociolinguistic languages, this study can be done based upon the text. So this is one of the our semantic changes. Under the semantic, there are two, that is the semantic parentage and semantic adaptations. So these are more mostly linguistics study of the text. Then lastly, it is called as bilingual resemblance. What are the resemblance of the two languages? They can be also studied. So there are so many texts related with our particular linguistics structure of any language. So a researcher can also discuss besides this, the researcher related with the socio-cultural status of the bodhisattva belonging to a particular locality in a particular period will be different from a general socio-cultural information. Suppose a person who studies the sociological or cultural aspect of Western Himalaya, and it will be different than the our Eastern Himalaya, Western Himalaya. So suppose the persons who are living in the Leh and Ladakh, our Tripura, Manipur, or other areas or Sikkim areas. So this is the our that socio-cultural informations will be different also. So these can be the culture, folk art, and our what are the rituals, what are the dress. These can be also taken as a study for our research method. Then further, we are coming to the another aspect that is called as questionnaire method related with the Buddhist studies, that how a person can do to comparative study of two particular Buddhist or non-Buddhist text may be treated as a separate type of research method. So here there are some of the methods which have been given. Based upon that, one can also start. So see, there are comparative study by the method of questionnaire to locate dissimilarities and similarity by letters and in variant readings also. So a person can make a study that what are the similarities, what are the dissimilarities, of a particular persons regarding the any aspect of social aspect or any aspects that can be done. For making questionnaires, we'll discuss that what are the methods of making the questions, how questions can be developed. So there is another aspect which is called as conceptual bifurcations to be also questions. What are the concepts which are available in our two traditions? They can be also studied, and the questions, the research questions can be developed also. Then environment and locations to be determined. A researcher can determine that what location or the environment he has to see. Further related with the this environment and locations, the date and the authorship in both. In the two manuscripts, we can find that what are the date authors and the date when the text was composed or written. So it helps us to understand, and based upon the nature and the society or the environment of the person concerned, one can also do it like this. Then next is the manuscript logical critic, if any. One has to see that related with the text, if any manuscripts which are lying unpublished, they have not been undertaken and they are kept as a rare Buddhist text. So we have to locate it. If they are available, we have to find out those texts and then you can make a comparison of that. Then declaration of the determinable points to compare. Then we have to that what are the main points we have to compare it. We have to make a keywords of those points also. And then what are the linguistics methods or linguistics apparatus? There are so many methods which have been developed that how linguistics study can be done. So like this we can do, and then estimations of the comparative data. Then next comes as a field work, that is a case study or informations. So how the Tibetans they are studying, they are living, what are their living standard, what are the sources of their income, they can be also they discuss. So here this field work, how the field work, there are some of the points one can go through it. So what is the field work? A field work program based on the questionnaire relevant to the hypothesis is to be drafted carefully for collections of requisite information with possible factual data regarding a particular community under study or some still subject like artifacts, architectures, or etc. So first of all, there are some of the methods to make the questions. That what type of questions can be questions. The questions should not related with any sentiments of the person concerned. Otherwise, when you are making the questions or you are asking the questions, they will not answer in a proper manner. So questions must be in a very our that it should not hurt the sentiments and emotions of the person concerned. So for making questions, one must be very alert also, and how the informations can be gathered through those questions. It is also a art, and we can do. And there are some subjects related with this also, based upon the architectures and artifact of the any area or the state one can study it. So there are some of the points you can see. social study of community like Bhutiyas or Indo-Tibetan Buddhists or Indian Himalayas. The persons who are living in the Eastern Himalayas, one can study about it, how the Tibetans they are living. So this social aspect of a community, you also know that are four sects of the Tibetan Buddhism also. So all sects are living in different locations. There are some of their sources of income also. So what social aspects of any community which are living, they can be also studied. Bonpoj in Nepal and Bonpoj in Himachal Pradesh, they have settled in and they are having own community also. So how this social aspects can be studied? So questionnaire to cover their immigration when they came to any country or any state, all and sterile spot, etc. What were the mean from where they have come to India or Nepal or other places also. At presence of the data, post immigrations, after immigrations to any country, what are the sources from where the materials can be gathered? So also in Nepal, also they are having their own materials Tibetans, and in Himachal Pradesh also they are having their own library and their own informations department of informations. There is a Tibetan parliament in exile through which person can gather the informations. Then cultural give and take, how they are contributing to the society of the Himachal Pradesh and how they are taking cultural aspects to them also. So what are the our cultural aspects of that community can be also be. Then means of the livelihood, how they are living, what are the source of their income, how they are making business also, and how they are looking after their families, what are the means of getting their economy, that can be also studied. Communications like arts, visual, and performing. So these are three also. So related with the tips can be also studied. Besides that, there are dances also, there are rituals, they can be also studied. Language and the scriptures, how the language they are adopting in different places, and the social and structures functions with the classifications, how their society and how they have been divided with the educations or other fields also, and how the political awareness and so on, how different are also getting educations, and after getting educations, how they are political aware in different parts of the globe, they are imparting their aspects also. So these are called as just within 2-3 minutes, I will complete this lecture. So we are discussing that in the sutras and the text, we are having some of the manuscripts also. And we had discussed that in some of the parts of the Afghanistan, manuscripts through which a person can gather the informations and they can do the textual analysis also. So there are so many collections. If you go through in Japan also, and some of the parts they are having so many collections of the manuscripts. Out of them, there is a Hirinmama collections which have been collected by our Professor Ikumi Hirayama and Mrs. Mikuma Hariyama. So, what are the manuscripts from Bamiyan Valley? Same as Swan collection. So, these are some of the list. If you go through the corrosive fragments and palm leaves, one folio, Mahaparinirvana Sutra, published by Richard Solomon. So one folio, a commentary on the Ekotaric Agama, and then 24 fragments unidentified. Then I am just giving the information that how the manuscripts which are available from our Central Asian parts of the like Afghanistan and others, how these one northeastern Gupta Brahmi fragment, six northwestern Gupta Brahmi fragments, palm leaves. So palm leaves and the bark leaves are available. One fragment, Mahayana versions of Pavarna Sutra, and four fragments which are unidentified. So two fragments in Gilgit Bamiyan type, and then fragments of Samadhi Raj Sutra. So manuscripts from Pakistan also, we are having Northwestern Gupta Brahmi document on cloth. And then Virga Agama, there are 25 folios, list is yours. Then High Siddhara collections, the list they are given here. So two fragments from the Rayama collections, fragments of the treatise by Acharya Buddhamitra. So they are available. They have been published by Richard Solomon, and there are other new fragments of Pavarna Sutta. So they are also available in Hirama collections. So these are the list for the sake of understanding that how the manuscript study which are available in different collections, one can make a study of that. So let us just stop here for next class related with the other method of the collection of the radius. We'll discuss in a different way. That the research method can be done